packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you.
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
All right, you weekend warriors out there, you know what time it is. It's time for Reese on the Radio and the Reese on the Radio Rundown on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Welcome to the program. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into for this Sunday evening. Don't forget, you can always check us out 3 p.m. Eastern on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC for Reese on the Radio. And who do we got this week? And to talk about, we got Kamala Harris we got to talk about. We'll get into that in a minute. I'll give you a preview of my conversation with Mark Fitch, who's going to be on Monday to talk about his investigation into Eversource and how ratepayers have been fleeced for the past 20 years. Also, I want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl halftime show and that debate that's brewing there. I don't, not that I really care, but it's something to talk about. I found something interesting about that whole thing as well to talk about. But I want to get directly into this thing with the Kamala Harris ABC local network news interview that everyone is panning. Of course, it happened on the weekend, you know, when no one was going to be paying attention to it, and it'll die down by Monday. I don't think so on this one, folks. I don't think so on this one. Because everything, remember, Kamala Harris is not some senator running for local office anymore. Okay? So all you people who are trying to treat her like that, when she does these local interviews with an affiliate anchor somewhere, trying to treat it like it's not a big deal. Look, there's a reason why South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn says he doesn't want her out there talking to anybody. He doesn't want interviews of Kamala Harris one-on-one. Something she said might get misconstrued. Yeah, sure. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt. Jim Clyburn knows this woman is worse, far worse than Joe Biden. At least Joe Biden knows what he's talking about. This woman is a dun-dun-dun-dun, completely. You can't trust her. Jim Clyburn can't. The Democrat Party can't. I'm telling you that the party bigwigs do not trust her. That's the reason why she's not out there, because of interviews like that. Don't take my word for it. Listen to this. Listen to this simple question for you. This simple question about the economy. Listen to what his question is. Listen to what she says. And tell me if it sounds eerily familiar.
When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, you know, construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience, you know, but a lot of people will relate to this. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who were very proud of their lawn, you know, and I was raised to believe and to know that all people deserve dignity, and that we as Americans have a beautiful character. You know, we have ambitions and aspirations and dreams, but not everyone necessarily has access to the resources that can help them fuel those dreams and ambitions. So when I talk about building an opportunity economy, it is very much with the mind of investing in the ambitions and aspirations and the incredible work ethic of the American people, and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother, worked long hours, and our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her, our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood, and she was a community leader. She hired locally. She mentored. Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think, the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Opportunity economy means, look, we don't have enough housing in America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, the American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. So part of my plan is to work with the private sector and housing developers to give them a tax credit, to be able to partner with us as the government to build, and my goal is 3 million new homes by the end of my first term. In addition, to help people who just want to get their foot in the door, literally, and so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance.
Okay, you heard the question? Okay? Simple, plain.
When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
What are you going to do? Answer. That answer seem familiar to you? Here's why.
When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid. Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. And I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America.
Kamala Harris. Same answer to a different question. What is she talking about? Nothing. She's not answering the question. In a one-on-one, when someone's asking you a direct question, you don't have any distractions. Just answer the question. But the fact that she filibusters for like 3 minutes, meandering about, talking about her background, does she think that she's doing some Jedi mind trick with the interviewer? Does she think that the interviewer who asked her the question, once she's done on her 3-minute meander, that he would have forgot what he asked her? That what she believes? Yeah. That's the whole. I'm telling you, no one has set her up to do this. She is a horrible candidate. Horrible. It's that simple. Here's some more.
How different you are from Joe Biden, and so I wonder if there are one or two spots, policy areas or approaches where you would say, I'm a different person.
Well, I'm obviously not Joe Biden. And, I offer a new generation of leadership. And so, for example, thinking about developing and creating an opportunity economy where it's about investing in areas that really need a lot of work.
Fail. Epic. Complete fail. I don't care what anybody says about Kamala Harris. This woman is no one is, try it. Keep trying to tell me that no one's blowing up this campaign, that anyone has any confidence in her. The people who have confidence in Kamala Harris are just plain dumb. And whoever is supporting her, Kamala Harris's handlers, know that you are dumb. Trust me, they are sitting back in the Kamala Harris campaign headquarters, laughing at how stupid you are. We could tell these people anything, and they will support her. I'm telling you, they don't care. They are shooting from the hip. This is a joke to them. No one is taking this seriously. They can't be. This is the party running a candidate with the illusion that they are serious about winning when I know they're not. They can make it look any way they want to look because they're trying to obviously appease their constituents. See, we've got a viable candidate because they know that these people are willfully ignorant and or stupid. The news media will make this thing look as tight as it can. Why? Because it has to, so they can sell more airtime. But no one's falling for this nonsense at all. At least not anybody, not any real people. I know I'm not. Yeah, I know. You'll come up to me and you'll be like, wow, Reese, you were right. Yes, I know. No offense. I really don't need anybody to certify this for me. I know what's going on, and I haven't been wrong yet. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I tried really hard to stay away from this story because just watching all of the people who are running around acting so silly about this. I mean, of all people, this guy's supposed to be serious. Lawrence O'Donnell over on MSNBC. I mean, after this happened, he took to the airwaves and he said this, of all people, a grown-ass man said this.
I've never been impressed by celebrity endorsements. I think they are helpful to the base that you already have. They tend to be people who the base already identifies with. This is someone who crosses it all. This is, I think, the most important celebrity endorsement we've ever seen in a presidential campaign, especially because it is so close and it can make that kind of difference.
Who's he talking about? Okay. Obviously, the queen of everything right now, at least in the celebrity world, Taylor Swift. Now, I jokingly talk about Taylor Swift on the level I call her the salt of the earth, the most important white woman to ever live. I joke. And I do it all tongue-in-cheek because, of course, one, it annoys the hell out of my wife. But two, other people, it's like poking fun. It's a parody. Everyone thinks that Taylor Swift is the most important thing since sliced bread. It's a woman empowerment thing. Right? It's not really there, but it's a sham that they have to perpetuate. Nonetheless, let me just get to the meat of why I'm even discussing it. And it says a lot about celebrity. This is why I could never be one. And I know people talk about my, Reese on the Radio, you're becoming very popular, and people, you're going to grow, you're going to be like the big, it's a fear. You might even call it a fear, but there's a degree of responsibility that comes with those kind of accolades, right? But that kind of status, there's a responsibility. And a lot of people cannot bear that responsibility. I'm one of those people who are fearful of it because I know that I have to make sure that if I am ever in a status that's remotely like half of what Beyonce or Taylor Swift, anytime, if I would have to get a quarter of what I know I'd have to be on my P's and Q's every day and have to behave as a responsible adult. I'd have to live as I perform, so to speak, right? I've got to be down the line, and I've not always done that. So I understand that. But the thing about this, right, the endorsement part of Taylor Swift, and I hear the people who are upset. I think I watched Megyn Kelly talking about how upset she is about Taylor Swift. I never give that stuff that much credibility, but because I want to make something 100% clear here. You have to recognize the arrogance of somebody like Taylor Swift. What happened here was arrogant, and it shows exactly who Taylor Swift is in so many ways. Let me run through them. One, she did it right after the debate, which in a lot of ways took the wind right out of Kamala Harris's sails. Right? This is a debate that everyone had been waiting on. And as you can see from even Lawrence O'Donnell's response, it was more important than anything when everyone needed to focus on Kamala Harris's performance. And whether or not voters actually got anything out of it, Taylor Swift took the wind out of it. She sucked all the oxygen. That shows how arrogant she is. The part that makes me laugh is that this arrogance is pretending to be responsibility. Like what she's saying is that I am so important and I am so powerful that I'm going to show the world that I support this candidate about something that is important to their very lives. This is not you giving props to another artist. Hey, buy this person's album. Or this person's restaurant is struggling. Go eat here. Or go to this person. It's not like that. This is something far more important. And what is she doing? Is she Is she placing herself into the debate as a kingmaker or a queenmaker, I guess you could say in this case? Is she telling people, I'm going to be the one that's going to push Kamala Harris over the top? Because what's the purpose of her endorsement, if not to tell the people who support her, Taylor Swift, and her music, I need you to follow suit. Do what I do. Do as I say. There's no responsibility here. It's nothing more than her showing everyone, look how important I am. I endorsed Kamala Harris because I say she should be endorsed. She is now relevant. I place my hand on thee, and you are now the chosen one. That's the laughable part. This is the part that makes me laugh. So I hear all these people who are upset and all these people who are angry. I don't care. I don't care about Kamala. In fact, I will go so far as to say, even if it were true, so what? It says so much about the culture that we live in. Because if this were to make a mark, which I know it will not, but if this were to make a mark, we've got bigger problems, folks. We've got bigger problems that people to make decisions about our country because of a pop singer. We really, really have to, we would have to check ourselves right then and there. Wouldn't we? I mean, tell me we wouldn't. So I see this all the time. And I don't think celebrity has that kind of that kind of pull the way it used to, because everybody's a celebrity now. It doesn't matter. Taylor Swift is, just as relevant as Kim Kardashian. And Kim Kardashian offers nothing to the world. She doesn't even, record albums. At least Taylor Swift, produces a product that you can buy. Kim Kardashian just exists, and they're on the same playing field. They're on the same level of celebrity. That shows you exactly how meaningless all of this is. Because the celebrity only makes it about themselves. And so do the people who report on it, as you heard from Lawrence O'Donnell.
I've never been impressed by celebrity endorsements. I think they are helpful to the base that you already have. They tend to be people who the base already identifies with. This is someone who crosses it all. This is, I think, the most important celebrity endorsement we've ever seen in a presidential campaign, especially because it is so close and it can make that kind of difference.
Now, Kamala Harris has arrived because a pop singer says, I lay my hands on thee. What else can you say? I mean, tell me, is it anything else? Nope, not at all. That's exactly what it is. All right, we come back. I got to talk about this the Super Bowl thing, the Super Bowl controversy. And not that it's anywhere relevant, but being the pop culture critic at large, I've got to talk about it. Because I saw something interesting, and I looked at this a little bit earlier, and I found something odd about the uproar between Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar, the two rappers. And we'll talk about that when we get back. All right? It's Reese on the radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Hey guys, it's Reese on the radio. Another broadcasting week in the tank, and we're back to do it all over again on Monday. We've got Mark Fitch of Connecticut Inside Investigator to talk about the Eversource scandal, and of course your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. It's your baby mama's favorite show, Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back, and we couldn't even get 1 week into the football season, and we've already got a controversy about the end of the football season, and that's the Super Bowl. So, I don't know if you care about this kind of stuff, but the Super Bowl halftime show, sure, it's a spectacle. There have been great performers. I still remember Bruno Mars. To this day, there hasn't been a Super Bowl halftime show quite like it. Sure, people talk about Prince, but I don't even remember that one. I don't even think I watched it. Anyway, but there have been great ones. I get it, and it's important. People are always excited about who's going to be their halftime performance. And this one is no different. And this rapper out of California, Kendrick Lamar, was picked as the Super Bowl halftime performance. And because the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, many people are suggesting that it should have been rapper Lil Wayne who should have been picked because he's from the New Orleans area. And there are other people who could have been incorporated, like Baby from Cash Money, and other Cash Money millionaire rappers and artists who could have been there. Also the Master P's. Now, if any of these names don't ring a bell or you don't recognize them, they shouldn't. Because, again, they are not trying to appeal to you. I know who they are because I've been in that industry, so all of them are relevant to me. I'm a hip-hop and rap guy since I was a kid, as many people at this station are. They've listened to it. At least they were sort of in it because it was a part of their culture or part of their lives. But I was really heavy into the music industry, so I know who these players are. But let me break down what the controversy is, if I may. So Kendrick Lamar, again, out of California. What we saw in the last couple of Super Bowl performance is based upon the city that the Super Bowl was in. The NFL tried to connect with the cultural part of that region. What does that mean? So what the NFL, and you guys know this, if the NFL is in a city, they sort of incorporate the city into the Super Bowl fair, right? So if the Super Bowl was in Philly, it would be about the cheesecakes, and then they would probably run. NFL would be at the local cheesecake place or the most popular place there. They go to Temple University, things like that. Los Angeles, the same case. So what did we see in the last couple of years with the Super Bowl? So when the Super Bowl for the first time was in Los Angeles, I think it was in Los Angeles, right? Yeah, the Los Angeles Super Bowl, they brought in Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, right, to perform. And it was really supposed to be the people that Dre introduced to the music industry, and Dr. Dre being sort of like the pillar. So they bring Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. He pretty much introduced the world to Snoop Dogg, Eminem, of course, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, he did a song with. So you get the idea. So then, of course, last year they had it in Atlanta. So who they clearly wanted Atlanta's music presence in the air. So Usher was the halftime performance. And then Little John and Jermaine Dupri, who are also artists from the area. So it seemed odd that this time around they would not incorporate Lil Wayne as the halftime of the Super Bowl because he's from the region. And if the NFL was showing that association in its halftime show, why not? And I guess Lil Wayne has made it known that he's upset about it. I don't see any real reason to be upset. They're going to make it up to him. It just means that they're going to do it next year. They're going to make it up and say Lil Wayne here. But I sort of understand Lil Wayne. It is your city. It's where you grew up. You are an international superstar. And performing in front of your home crowd at the Super Bowl is a big deal. It's quite the honor. And many people are saying that it's because there's a riff or a professional riff between he and Jay-Z, who is sort of like a part of the halftime show committee. And he's the one who made the decision. They're wondering whether or not it was a personal slight. I don't know. I don't care. But we'll see where the controversy goes. They can't, renege on this thing. They can't turn around and say, hey, you know what, Kendrick, we apologize. We thought about it, and maybe we should have Lil Wayne in his hometown. I'm sure that they'll work it out where they bring Lil Wayne out to perform just to make it, maybe he'll be a surprise guest now. But that would be, wow, we would really, we'd see right through that, wouldn't we? Yeah, that would be bad. That would be bad. So anyway, that's what's going on in that world. I'm not really excited about this football season. I thought I would be, but I'm usually like that when my team loses the first game of the year. I'm immediately sunken. I'm like, ugh. So it's really difficult for me to get back into it. So I'm trying. I don't know. Maybe we'll wait until about week 4, see what the stats look like, see how they look out on the field, on the road, at home, and then I'll make a decision. I'm starting to think, this is the really funny part. You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think I really never liked football. I liked drinking beer while watching football. And now I don't drink. So now I don't have the beer, and I have now realized, holy crap, I never liked football. I don't know whether or not that's true now. So I'm trying to figure that out. Does one see a therapist about something like that? I don't know. So I'll try to keep watching the games. But I hope you're enjoying the season. I really do. I hope you guys are enjoying the season. And New England looks pretty good. Bill Belichick's gone. He's in the broadcast booth. It seems new. That's the one thing I'm noticing, because the faces are not familiar. There are a lot of new faces in the NFL. And I feel like I have to get to know new people, which I'm okay with. It's cool, but, I have to and I'm not that enthusiastic about them. That's the deal, right? Because they've got weird names. They've went to weird colleges. They don't really have the stuff that you're used to, the names that you're used to. Like I can run through a litany of names in football lore, recent lore, that these kids will never measure up to. There's some good players today, but they'll never measure up to like an Ed Reed. They just won't. They just don't. That's all I can say. And it's sad, but it's true. But I'm hoping, like I said, that it's an exciting season. Maybe we'll get to know some of these new kids. Maybe they'll impress us. Maybe they'll become big stars. I mean, when we're at the point where the only people we can celebrate in the sport is Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, and nothing against them. I know I like those guys, as athletes, But if that's all we've got, and we have to watch, a whole bunch of commercials with them, or the Manning brothers, who have been out of football for a while. Like, if that's going to be all of football, then maybe it's true. Maybe it is going to be a boring and horrible season. I don't know. But you probably have some people just like, well, Reese, what about this? Fine. Send it to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You know where to go. ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can air your grievance there. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I should do fantasy football. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I have no patience for that stuff. Just none. None. It's like lottery tickets. You have no idea how many I have sitting in the car I've never checked. Trust me, none of them are winners. I promise. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio. Put a bow on this on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, what's up, y'all? We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Now, I know that I talk about my wife a lot on the show, and she's a huge part of my life. So, and I engage with her often, especially about politics, pop culture, and things like that. And of course, when we met, that was one of the things that we really enjoyed with one another. Is like her, growing up being liberal, me growing up being conservative. We really communicated when we first got together about our points of view, and we liked the fact that she and I we differed on so many things, and we could discuss them. She felt like she was really intellectually engaging with someone, and that for her was attractive, and it was attractive to me. And that, of course, grew into what you know now. And I love her and married her, and, we live together. We have a life together. It's an amazing thing to be a part of, especially on two different sides of that spectrum. But anyway, saying that, one of the things that we engaged in conversation about in the beginning was things like DEI and Black Lives Matter, things like that, right? You know, racism and all that other stuff. And she had a point of view that was obviously different from mine, and I had my point of view. And we, in a lot of ways, that became our love language in the beginning, having those discussions. And, you know, she would listen to me. I wasn't trying to convince her. I just wanted to tell her my point of view so she didn't think that I was a jerk. And I wanted to understand her point of view because I didn't want to think that she was just some, you know, weird person who was sort of just drinking the Kool-Aid. I really wanted to know, did she believe what she believed? And if there was sort of a breakdown, a sort of impetus to those thoughts and feelings. And it found out that they were. That's the reason why I say all of this is because she and I really we hit heads. What is that the word? Bump head? Yeah, we bumped heads on the conversation about DEI. And she, you know, affirmative action. She talked about how important those things were. And she thought that, you know, her son being, you know, black man or black kid, you know, he needs an opportunity. He needs to be able to do that. And some people are not going to give him that opportunity. And I understood where she was coming from. And it was out of concern. And she loves her son and she wants him to have the best life. So I didn't write her off because she had that point of view. But I really wanted her to understand the people who were in charge of this, you know, affirmative action, as it were. So we went to go see the movie, Am I Racist? The Matt Walsh Daily Wire film. We got to see it this weekend. And she had started to see how DEI and the CRT stuff was really out of whack. That it wasn't the thing that many people that she agreed with were selling it as. And I got to tell you, folks, when she watched this movie with me over the weekend, I had more fun at this movie, not just watching what Matt Walsh produced, but watching my wife react to it. And it was absolutely, I've never seen my wife curse so much at a screen. She was like, what the? Are you the whole thing? It was the most entertaining film I've seen all year. And I've seen some pretty good films. And again, it was really because my wife was absolutely outraged at the silliness of this whole thing. And like I said, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but you know, that Rachel D'Angelo, White Fragility author, that scene is better than advertised. I'm telling you, it was absolutely good. Everything else in the movie is great. And it's really thoughtful. It's smart. And it is, for the most part, funny. They called it a comedy. It is a comedy. It's really, 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 really funny. And Matt Walsh and the folks at the Daily Wire know what they're doing. It's not, you know, you see these outfits because they're not the Hollywood types. So do they really know how to produce a Hollywood mockumentary? No, this is up to snuff. It is worth your money. Do not wait for it to come out on what do you call it, on streaming. I'm sure it will be. But you should go. Take the time to go see it. It's a great night out. I watched some reaction videos, like people that actually filmed inside the movie theater of certain scenes, in particular the scene with Robin DiAngelo, the White Fragility fame, in Canada. And they were showing the crowd reaction to it. And they laughed as hard as I laughed in that reaction video. So trust me when I tell you, it's worth. And I would tell you, I know it's probably a dangerous proposition, but I would take your kids. I would. If you've got, not a college kid, if you've got teenagers, take them to go see this movie. It's that good and that entertaining and that thoughtful, especially if you're concerned about, you know, your young one being indoctrinated into this atmosphere. And that's the purpose of this film, is to just show that it is all, and it exposes a lot of craziness. And the people who are duped. I'm going to give something away on this one, because I said I wasn't going to do any spoilers. But there's this one scene in the movie I have to describe, and it really affected me. Because, let me just put it this way. So there's a scene called, it's a TV show called Good Morning Virginia, or Virginia Daily, something like that. But it obviously is a local Virginia morning show. And there's a black woman who is interviewing Matt Walsh in disguise at another location, I guess like at his seminar. And the scene, Matt Walsh is supposed to be having an epiphany that all of this is nonsense. But he's having it live on the air with the reporter. And the reporter can clearly see that Matt is distraught. He looks like he almost looks like he's going to commit suicide. If you were watching it like in real time, like when it happened, you would think, "Oh my God, Matt Walsh is going to walk off the screen and hurt himself." But Matt Walsh is playing it that way. That he's finally realized that, oh my goodness, this is nonsense. But he's playing it often, and he's hoping that the anchor or the reporter figures it out, but they don't. The reporter keeps asking questions about DEI. She is like committed to his cause and his workshop about DEI. And it is... And I know that maybe I'm making too much of it, because some people say, well, some people might say, well, Reese, she was doing her job. She couldn't break character, or she couldn't break protocol. She had to continue to ask the questions. But no, not in that scene. She could not come out of the script. And it bothered me, because it was like she was hell-bent on sticking to the DEI script. Like, that's the only thing that was important. And I thought that was weird. It struck me as weird. That's why I said you got to see the movie, because it's, again, everything that happens is thoughtful. I watched the video of Matt Walsh afterwards, I think, where he talked about the film and what it took to make the film. And he says that they spent countless hours and almost a year to get this film produced. And it is well worth it. They kicked so much butt on this movie, and the laughter, I couldn't stop laughing, but it was worth it. I felt so satisfied coming out of the movies, because I rarely am. It's got to be a really, really good movie nowadays for me to spend my money, and this was well worth it. So I'm going to endorse it. If I have to give it 1 to 5, 5 being the best, I'm definitely going to give this one 4. I'm going to give this one 4 stars as a must-see, without a doubt. Nothing's perfect. So check it out. Anyway, so I've got to get out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good Sunday, a pleasant tomorrow, and we'll see you back here at 3 p.m. on News Talk 1080 WTIC.